The tilt is real.
The tilt is real.
This is when the tilt is real. Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of The Tilt is Real Fantasy Podcast. Coming to you live from the chef's table, here are your hosts, James Crease and Juan Pena. Let's go.
Welcome in, Tilters. It's Thursday night football pregame pandemonium. We're going to get into it real fast. It is Thursday night. It is September 24th. We have a great matchup in Florida. Miami Dolphins against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I have my two partners in crime, Mr. John J. Swanson and FF One of a Kind here with me, celebrating this Thursday night kickoff. How you guys doing, fellas?
Great. Happy to be here. Happy to be here with you guys. Juan, I love that mug, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm hating on that a little bit.
And on the other, one of a kind, and on the other side, TIR.
The tilt is real, baby. The tilt is real.
This week more than ever, Chef.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you say something about pandas in the beginning?
Pandemonium. Panda.
Panda.
I love that. I love that track. You know, I hear that all the time with the little 2-year-old inside.
Nice. All right.
I'm
excited for tonight. I'm excited for. I feel like over the years you see Jacksonville, Miami. It's another one of those. It was like last week, like Cincinnati and Cleveland. It's like, it's gonna be a Thursday night like bomb. Like, nah, man, this is gonna be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I think this game goes back and forth more than most people expect it to. From what we've seen from the Dolphins, offensively, they are a little spotty in the running back department. But the receivers, Fitzpatrick, man, we might see some Fitz magic against some Minshew mania.
It's kind of a gimmicky Thursday, Chef. You know what I mean? With those two guys.
There's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Hype around Minshew, obviously, and Fitzpatrick, man, he has his moments where he just comes alive, and this could be one of those games.
Last week, nobody expected us to play with the Bills, and it was 31-28, so it was a high-scoring game. It was back and forth. There was a lot of offense in that game, and I expect the same thing tonight.
Agreed. So if there's a lot of offense going on, who are the guys that are standing out the most tonight for you? Mr. Swanson, we'll start with you. What's one guy that you're really putting your money on?
I know we talked about this earlier, and it wasn't maybe it was because it was up against another guy, but I like James Robinson tonight. The man just looks – I love what I've seen from him so far. I really do. And he breaks tackles. He makes people miss. He makes things happen. And I know that the Dolphins can stop the run, but I think that Robinson has the ability to exploit that. So he's a guy that I'm definitely excited about, and I'm firing him up tonight for sure.
All right.
In one of my leagues, I'm firing him up because I just want to see it. Because I really think it could happen.
You want to have a part of it if it happens, right? You don't want to miss out.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because I've been high on him, and I think this is a true test. Marquee Thursday night. You know what I mean? I think it's his true test against Miami.
I'm kind of doing the same thing, Mr. Swanson. Like, I'm going out on a limb too with my guy for tonight, and I started him in 3 leagues, right? 3 out of 10 leagues. I started Laviska Shenault.
I like it. That was.
Nice. I want to put him in so bad, but I'm tilting. It's Thursday night, and I'm tilting. And we talked about it before we went live. I have Darius Slayton, Michael Gallup, Jonnu Smith, and Laviska Shenault. Now, it's so close with the point factor. It's going to be splitting hairs, and I just can't take Slayton out of my lineup with the news of Sterling Shepard being injured. They're most likely going to be throwing the ball a lot because of the Saquon Barkley injury.
Saquon Barkley got hurt?
Yes, he did. And if you didn't know that, listen to our show. It just came out today, episode 12.
You need a lot more than our show if you didn't know Saquon got hurt at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Chef, that's a tough tilt, man. Oof.
Yeah, it's a tight end premium, Chef. So we'll clarify that for the listeners. Like that, the reason you're considering Jonnu, right?
No, it's not.
It's not.
No, it's
then,
not.
Then
It was. It's actually in the Fantasy Footballers Megala Bowl.
Shout out to the footballers.
Yeah, the Chef is stacked in that league. I don't know how it happened, but I am stacked.
I have a hard time sitting Gallup out of those guys, Chef. Like Gallup's got to start for me against Seattle. That's going to be a shootout. I mean, the way Dak's been throwing the ball, anybody can get it. It could be CeeDee Lamb, like everybody's projecting a big game from him, but that's
because they've seen it already.
It could just as well be Gallup. Like he's been targeted deep and he's caught a few balls. He got one late on he would have had one late on Ramsey and they called that pass interference, which was nonsense in week 1. And he would have had that big catch. So the numbers are skewed a little bit. I think his opportunity is still there, and I would have a hard time benching him for either Slayton or Jonnu or Laviska Shenault, which I do like the matchup for Shenault tonight, but not over Michael Gallup.
Yeah, it's exactly, and that's where I put it. I'm leaving Jonnu in over Laviska. I think that's what I have to do. Maybe not.
Gallup, Slayton, Jonnu, Laviska in that order. I would rank the 4.
Gallup, Slayton, Jonnu.
It's a good tilt though. I mean, to start off the show, like, and we're all facing those this week. Like I had to make decisions on, like, I got a guy, Christian Kirk, who I'm high on, and it's a good matchup against Detroit, but he's questionable. So do I take the chance on the rookie Shenault tonight with no Byron Jones in that secondary? And we saw what Diggs did to the Dolphins last week. I'm banking on Shenault making enough splash plays that he can get me that 12, 15 points that you need out of a guy if you take the chance on starting him on a Thursday night. Right.
So the big news and why we're talking and we're hyping up Laviska Shenault is DJ Chark is not going to play tonight.
I think it's
so another injury out.
Surprise. Honestly, when you just listed those last 4, I would actually bump Laviska up a little bit, maybe even like 2 spots to be in my second out of those 4 because of the DJ Chark injury and because who's out?
Byron Jones.
Byron Jones is out. Yeah, so
the only reason why between me, it was since I have Tyler Higbee as my tight end, I'm not worried about my tight end position so much. I'm blessed with the fact of having Higbee and Jonnu Smith. I drafted very well in this draft, and
it could be a blessing and a curse, man.
It is a blessing and a curse because the tilt is harder. You know, I could sit there and draft all day long, and that's why I love playing so much best ball because I'm really good at drafting.
This guy. I'm really good at drafting. I can sit there and draft all day long.
I can just sit there and draft all day long. But when it comes to hey, I'll be honest. When it comes to starting my guys the right day up against each other, that's where we came up with this idea for the tilt as it is anyway, because of the simple fact that, man, we have good players on our rosters, and you may not be just tilting about a flex position. You may actually be talking about your wide receiver 2s or your tight. Maybe you have 2 tight end 1s. Maybe you got lucky and you got Higbee and Jonnu Smith, which it didn't happen the way I knew I wanted Jonnu when I drafted, but I didn't know Higbee was going to fall in my lap in like the 11th round.
The tilt thing, Chef, it can go through any position, and it can happen to you depending on your league format. Like if you were smart and you loaded up on running backs because you foresaw some of these injuries. I'm in a league where I have Jacobs, Joe Mixon, Kenyon Drake, and Jonathan Taylor, but I can only start 3 running backs. Right. So I'm lucky that they've all ducked it, but now I have to make a decision between Joe Mixon, Drake, or Jonathan Taylor. I'm obviously starting Josh Jacobs, except this week we talked about it on the pod this week where I'm fading him a little bit, and if I have those 3 kind of options, if Mixon wasn't playing against the Eagles, I would probably start Mixon over Josh Jacobs, but I'm going to have to start Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, and I can't sit Jonathan Taylor as hot as he is going up against the Jets this week. So, but there are tilts even at every other position.
For sure. Somebody asked me today, James Robinson or what did they ask me? Is James Robinson tonight or McKinnon on Sunday?
I like McKinnon, man, against the Giants. You saw what Montgomery was able to do last week. Both Coleman and Mostert are out. I think I got to lean McKinnon real easy on that one. I like Robinson. I like what you're saying, like what you've seen from him.
Oh, yeah.
But we really did a pretty decent number against Zach Moss and Devin Singletary last week. So
as high as I am on Robinson, yeah, that's definitely the McKinnon play for sure.
And
especially since Mullins is starting, they're going to keep it on the ground. Yeah,
heavy. You know, Shanahan's going to come up with a game plan that just features McKinnon all day long, and they're going to feed him.
For sure.
And do you think Jeff Wilson gets in there at all?
I don't know if it's him or Jermichael Hasty that's going to help out. Like somebody has to be able to help. I'm not sure if Hasty's even going to be activated. So yeah, if Jeff Wilson's in there, he's going to vulture touchdowns. He did it last year where he had 2 touchdowns in a game. So there's a chance that Wilson becomes that guy. You never know what they're going to do with San Fran, but you know that the heavy workload is going to McKinnon. He was already getting play independent of whether or not Mozart and Tevin Coleman were in there. He was going to get some time. So now he gets the full workload, and I think he'll do good things with it.
I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see him in a full workhorse load.
When did I get so old? Look at these bags under my eyes. Oh God.
You're working, man. You're working.
So today was a cloudy day. I was working outside and I had the bandana on. I took the bandana off and it's just like a line. So I'm just gonna wear the bandana until it blends back in with the rest of my face.
I mean, lucky for you, you're going to Florida, right?
Yeah, I'm going to Florida. The only reason I'm going to Florida is because of the Thursday night game tonight. I was inspired. I said, week 3 kicks off with a Thursday night game. I'm gonna go to Florida. That's not why.
But it's definitely a party down there. I mean, it's nice. They're gonna have fans in the stands in Jacksonville. They're gonna, it's gonna feel like a real game, and almost like a regular attendance game for the Jaguars. They have a problem with bringing people in, so Dolphins Jags wasn't gonna get more than 17,000 anyway.
And that's how many people, 17,000, they were packing them in for the Chiefs game.
Yeah, so 17,000 in Jacksonville is about normal attendance.
Oh, so it looks like a regular game.
Right. It's a regular Thursday night against the Dolphins in Jacksonville. Regular attendance, dude. Nice. But it'll feel like a good game. We'll feel like we'll have an atmosphere. And I feel like you said, Chef, at the beginning, we're going to be going back and forth and the teams are going to be playing. And Mr. Swanson, I can't give up yet on my Dolphins defense. I know that we got gashed last week, but I can't give up on the front 7. I can't give up on the front 7 stopping James Robinson. I think it's going to be Minshew to Cole and to Laviska and to Chris Conley, maybe even for a touchdown. And your boy Eifert, Mr. Swanson, to your credit, like you've been mentioning Eifert since the offseason, that was a sneaky pick because he went to that team and now they're suddenly moving the ball and a little more dynamic. And then he's starting to look like a viable option. And in a world where we're talking about so many tight ends every week, and we're talking about Schultz and Drew Sample, like, Gesicki's blown up out of nowhere. Sneaky pick. Like, Eifert could have himself a decent little game this week, too.
Yeah, I have him marked down for a good game.
I'm still thinking between starting Hooper or Eifert.
Hooper's been really killing you if you had him in your lineups. Like, I know I have him in the Megala Bowl that you were talking about, Chef, with the footballers, and I can't start Hooper. Like, I got to leave Hooper out. Like, I got to bring in anybody else. I'll start Sample. I'm starting Schultz over Hooper and in the Megala Bowl this week.
Ooh. Yeah. That's tough.
I have to, Chef. I have to hope that he falls in the end zone. I have to hope that they do such a good job, like double covering Amari Cooper, or he gets the Shaquille Griffin treatment, and then that Adams is all over the field trying to blitz, and that Schultz can leak out and maybe get him a cheap touchdown. But I'd rather do that than Hooper because he's been killing me the last few weeks, and I just can't trust that they're not going to want to. Cleveland's going to want to just run the ball all day long against Washington. So I'm going to take my chances and go with Schultz.
Yeah, but I think if Washington pushes the Cleveland offensive line back a little bit, I guess Hooper is going to have to stay on that line and block for Mayfield. And that's probably why his production is going down, because he needs to stay there and block for Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
For Baker Mayfield.
I'm sorry. I don't know why. Yeah. Oh, that's why I'm thinking.
Both of them.
You guys knew what I was talking about.
We definitely did. But to your point, Chef, like Jack Conklin, the new right tackle for the Cleveland Browns, he's missed a little time and he was dinged up in week 1. So
he's active this week. He's active this week.
So maybe that's why Hooper had to stay in and pass protect a little more. But with a team like Washington that's going to get up the field with those guys, with Chase Young and Jonathan Allen and DeArtis Payne and Montez Sweat, that front 4 puts so much pressure that maybe there are holes for that running game, and you'll see Chubb and Hunt have a little success on those draw plays they like to run. And if they do that and they're running the ball, I just think they're going to want to control the game that way. And Hooper just hasn't been producing. He hasn't been running as many routes, like you said, maybe staying in the block. So I'm going to fade Hooper this week for sure.
Yeah, I think Hooper is a little bit touchdown dependent going forward until further usage, until we see more usage rather from Baker Mayfield into him.
Yeah, and I know that Washington football team in week 1, the tight ends for the Eagles gashed them, but that's just the way they want to play. I would think maybe more this will be a game where Jarvis Landry gets back on track and gets his his footing. And again, I expect a run heavy game script in that game.
I was trying to figure out. I think I had something I wanted to bring up too. on my own behalf, but I got to figure out where
Well,
it
you're
is.
figuring that out. That's a good
Yeah.
one. Logan Thomas, since we were talking about the Washington Redskins, and you were
The
talking
Washington
about
football team.
Football team.
Washington football team. Oh, I did it again.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
impossible.
whammy.
I'm
mean,
not the only one. I'm not the only one.
No,
People
man, that's the
called you-
second time I've said it on air.
People have called you James your entire life. If you decided all of a sudden to call yourself Potato, people would be like, "Oh, James, I mean Potato."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you've been doing something for so long, it's hard to restart that. Okay, I think I
All right.
found
So Logan Thomas of the Washington football team. If I say it like that, I remember it every time. You know.
Right.
it. True.
Logan Thomas or Dalton Schultz this week.
Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dalton Schultz all day for me anyway. It's pretty easy. I mean, not just because of the success he had last week. It's just it's a better offense in a plus matchup where it's gonna be a shootout. There's passes for everybody. I expect Dak to throw it at least 35, 40 times this week. You know, so same as he did last week. So yeah, I go with Schultz.
Hang on, I'm checking something real quick.
I like the usage out of Logan Thomas from Dwayne Haskins.
He targets him for sure, and he's looking for him down in the red zone. But the problem
definitely is he is turning into that secondary target for him and that safety blanket.
But
Seattle's held tight ends to 58 total yards through 2 weeks, 1 touchdown.
Yeah, but
total of 11 fantasy points.
In fairness, the Patriots don't really have a tight end that they're rolling out there with Izzo and Asiasi. They're not using the tight end; they use Edelman in the slot. You know what I mean?
Okay,
so
that's true. Very good
last
point.
week, and then in week 1, all those yards came from Hayden Hurst beating them, a little bit. So I think he had 45 of those yards in the first week. So Hayden Hurst was a decent tight end. So like 45, if I got 45 yards from Schultz and he finds his way in the end zone and I'm at 12 points, I'm happy with that. Like Hooper hasn't been able to give me that so far. And I expect that game again, Washington versus Cleveland in Cleveland. Cleveland to control the clock, not give Washington many opportunities, and they should have some success on the ground where they can chew up the clock and just keep it flowing.
But didn't Cleveland last week give up a bunch of fantasy points to the tight end position?
They sure
with
did.
Cincinnati. If Logan Thomas is a primary target in that offense after Terry McLaurin, of course, they're going to try to take away Terry McLaurin, which they won't be able to. He's a man among boys when it comes to that.
I don't know. Denzel
the problem
Ward,
is you're throwing the rock
on him. Yeah, it's Haskins, right? So Denzel Ward's on him. Like Burrow had a lot, Chef. In that game, they were always playing from behind. They were always playing catch up, and that was the game script. I think this one stays close for a little bit, long enough where it stalls that. But to your point, maybe Logan Thomas has a good game because if Denzel Ward's going to erase McLaurin, like I think McLaurin's a fade for me this week. I don't like him this week against Denzel.
Don't
Ward.
like McLaurin?
Not this week against Denzel Ward. No, sir. No,
I
sir.
didn't like him last week up against Peterson.
But Peterson's an older guy, and he was able to beat him on a crossing route where he kind of got picked.
Killed him.
Yeah, I mean, again, success because of the scheme, and maybe they'll do something to get him open again. But if Denzel Ward is on him and the game flows the way I think it's going to, where Cleveland just dominates the time of possession, I don't see him having a monster game. I would start him. Obviously, if I had him on my team, you have to start him. But I'm in DFS, I'm going nowhere near him. Guys that are playing great corners, you see it happen every week. You should just fade him. Like T.Y. Hilton last week disappeared because this kid that we're going to see tonight, CJ Henderson, number 23 from the Jags, he's the real deal. Holyfield, like they took him in the first round to supplant Ramsey, like to make up for it, and nobody saw him coming along this fast. He's on everything. Watch him tonight on either Devontae Parker or Preston Williams, and watch how he handles himself as a corner. So Darius Slay in week 1 shut down McLaurin, right? McLaurin didn't have a great game in week 1. In week 2, Robert Woods had 2 catches because he was facing Darius Slay. So fade AJ Green this week because Slay is on him. You saw what Jalen Ramsey was able to do against Amari Cooper. They had to put him in the slot and move him all around to be able to get him some catches because when he was on Ramsey, he was shut down. So those type of things last week, Ramsey's just a shutdown corner. So if you were facing one of those shutdown corners, and Denzel Ward is every bit of that, I promise you, like Denzel Ward is up and coming as one of the best corners in football.
All right.
So we've talked Laviska Shenault. Did we talk a little bit about Mike Gesicki tonight?
Now, I mentioned him in passing, Chef, that you like him as one of your plays this week. He's one of your sizzles.
We should talk about.
He is definitely one of my sizzles. 30th, Jacksonville's 30th against the tight end so far this year, giving up 15.9 fantasy points per game. Last week, Gesicki had a monster game, finished with 8 for 130 and a touchdown. he is definitely definitely one of those risers in the tight end position that should be good for years to come. And I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem starting him up and firing him up this week. If you have him in your lineup, fire him up, no questions asked.
However, if you have him in your flex, ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday. Pull your players. Thursday night players.
Swanson, go
Out
ahead.
of your
He's on it.
I love it. I love it.
He is on it, doggone it. That's what they used to tell us in the Army. You are on it, doggone it.
Friendly neighborhood reminder from Mr. Swanson himself.
Yeah, as far as Gesicki, Chef, if you have him rostered, all the other guys that we're talking about, not Schultz, not Sample, not Logan Thomas, like I wouldn't be messing around with any of those guys if I had Gesicki. I would definitely fire him up this week. He looks like he's Ryan Fitzpatrick's favorite target. Last week he had more targets than only Isaiah Ford. Isaiah Ford had 9 targets last week, and that's a sneaky play. Is Isaiah Ford, like if you're playing in a money game, a DFS, he had 9 targets. Yeah, he caught 7 of them. And for 76 yards. So he's somebody that could get open. And if you're getting the CJ Henderson treatment on Devontae Parker, and Gesicki now has to be paid attention to after the game he had last week, Ford and Preston Williams should see some opportunities to get some nice plays on the other side.
Okay.
Right. I like it. I like it. So if you haven't listened to our episode yet this week, it is titled Episode 12. Oh my gosh, it's already 12 episodes. And it's called Waiver Wire Heroes. And when we went through an exercise breaking down due to all the injuries this week or during week 2 to build a full fantasy roster made out of great waiver wire pickups. And I think we did a good job. And I think I want to put it out here on the show. I'm going to see if I can get it up here. If you guys want to filler Buster a little bit for me, I'm going to see if I can add in a little.
I want to say, Mr. Swanson, congrats on the idea, the concept. This was your brainchild. So this is a great concept. And it's an entire team built off of the waivers of guys that are owned in less than 50% of the league. So that's the qualifier that we use. And some of these guys that you're going to see when the chef puts it up on the board are guys that are already been wavered this week. But there's a bunch of names on there that you might be able to pick up for free without spending any kind of capital or fab or anything like that. You can just snatch them up, put your guys on IR that aren't playing this week. Pick one of these guys up and wait for them to have a good game. And you can either start them next week or you might have a trade piece since all these injuries are happening. And you can add one of these guys and sell them on a high if you get them.
Nice.
All right. Oh, did I have it? And I lost it, didn't I?
That's your email. I wonder if I can.
There it is.
I have a hard
figure
time.
it out.
Yeah.
I also can't. I can't take all the credit. You know, I had a little bit of an idea. And the 3 of us worked it out, and we worked out the kinks, tightened the screws, and it really, I think it's going to be cool, man. I would love to see something like this because, especially like if you're in 5 or 6 leagues and your head's spinning after week 2, it'll maybe kind of bring some clarity to all the craziness that happened last week. There it is.
Yeah, and make no mistake about it, that list right there. Chef, do we have it up on the website as well?
Yes, it is up live on the website. I posted it today.
So you can go to thetiltisreal.com and you can see it for yourself. The list is going to be up there on the picture. If you're having a hard time seeing it on this screen on the telecast, you can kind of browse over and still hear us and check that list out. But it is like a comforting thing, Mr. Swanson, what you're saying, because we give you a ton of options. Like the alternatives that we provide for you on this list. Like I said, Ryan Tannehill may not be available in your league, but Gardner Minshew is. So go snatch him up. You know, and if you look on this list and Jerick McKinnon is gone, he's obviously a great play. He was very popular. The Mostert owner most likely put in a waiver for him. That doesn't mean that you can't go get James Robinson or Joshua Kelly or Darrell Henderson to go play for your team, or even Devontae Freeman to stack for next week, like to stash them and wait to see what happens with that Giants backfield going forward, which their schedule does lighten up later.
All right, so I think I figured something out here. I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to do where's Waiver Wire Heroes going here? Going to figure it out. This is brand new stuff. All right. And then I'm going to go here. There it is.
There you go.
Nice. All right.
I don't know how you did that, but you did it well.
He did.
Now we can do this. Oh no, you put it right up on your screen. Is that how you did that?
I put it up under the overlays. Are we all blocked away now?
Oh, you made it an overlay. I got it.
Well, that's cool. Everybody can see it right there. That's easy. Yeah, so some of these guys like Corey Davis might already have gotten picked up. Russell Gage, especially with Julio being, nicked up, you're not sure who's going to be able to play. So if Russell Gage is already taken in your league, maybe Traquan Smith isn't, and Michael Thomas still isn't on his way back. Maybe N'Keal Harry, nobody's paying attention to him, and he's playing against the Raiders, and he could have the same kind of game that Traquan Smith had on Monday night, where you saw him have a lot of success. So there's a bunch of different ways you can go through this list and you can attack it. Michael Pittman, Paris Campbell's going to be out for a little while. So Michael Pittman is a plus matchup wide receiver, 6'4", 215, like a big guy.
And who are they playing?
The Jets. And Mr. Swanson loves to pick on the Jets. And as a Dolphins fan, I fully endorse that message.
Oh yeah, actually, I love that. And how could you not? I'm not a mean guy. I was never a mean guy. But if I was, there he is. If 32 teams went to high school together or to school together, I would definitely shove the Jets in a locker.
In dodgeball, that's the last pick. If you're picking defense guys to go up against, like the defenses, like I definitely want to go up against that team. And the Falcons are right there too, because they're really suspect on defense right now. And I know the Dolphins are 31st, Chef, in yards allowed, but that was a monster blow up game against Josh Allen. And we did play the Patriots in week 1, and Cam ran all over us a little bit. But
I love you staying true to your team, man. I love it.
I have to.
But you're right though, because you have pieces at defense, especially at defense, they can really do well, and it must be nice to at least love one part of.
And listen, I love my backup quarterback too, and I can't wait for Tua to get in there. So
that might be a game changer right there for sure.
It'll definitely make us more exciting, but if they're willing to keep him on the bench and we're just going to ride the season out, I'm down for that too. It's been long enough where I don't want him to get hurt. I want him to bring him along slowly. I don't want him to come in and have that season like Baker where he's struggling and everybody's asking questions and is he good enough and all that. Leave him alone. Let him sit. Let him redshirt this whole season if you have to.
Yeah, if you have to, why not? Don't roll him out there. And every time I see this after last week, after Sunday. And towards the more of the evening games on Sunday, and then especially Monday night, because I have stock in Alvin Kamara everywhere. Every time he touched the ball, and after he ran and he went down to get back up, I would just please get up, for all my players, for everybody. They take a hit. I'm like, please get up. Scary. And I don't know if it's like an AstroTurf thing, if like they have to start playing on regular grass, but does grass give too much? Like it's.
No, and we mentioned this when we were talking about it in the off season about these guys with the COVID and not having no preseason. They're not in football shape yet, and we expected them to take a couple weeks to get ready. We saw it was hamstring season a lot longer than we originally expected as well. We figured, the first couple of weeks of the non-preseason, we can call it, but then it trickled into the regular season as well, and hard on the first and second. We're seeing a lot of ACL tears. We're seeing high ankle sprains. Some of the injuries are just out of
weird,
the ordinary.
like
Rotator cuff,
separated cartilage, or a
UCL and UCL. As we called it last night on the pod.
What do we got? So we got an UCL. We have a guy that had his lung punctured. Tyrod Taylor gets his lung punctured because
those are
random.
sporadic. Those are sporadic
separated
things
cartilage
that happen. But a lot
Cam
of
Akers.
hamstrings.
What is that?
A lot of hamstrings. We have a lot of high ankle sprains, and that is common when you get up to football speed. I listen a lot to Stefania Bell when she talks injuries. She knows what she's talking about. And she's made the point, and we knew it coming. Like I said, we knew it coming into this season. But on a better note, we do this every time we go live. JP, Mr. John Swanson, who scores first tonight so I could put my prop bet in?
Yeah, you're on a roll. Make me some money.
Yeah, come on, give me one, man.
Listen, now it's a thing. Now I'm gonna
unless it's not James Robinson. I don't know if I can put my money on James Robinson.
Let him think on that for a second, Chef. And to your point with preseason, something that I learned from the Army was muscle memory. Like your body has that inherent thing, right? So that's why we're seeing some of the rookies have success right now, because they don't experience this every year. But the veterans, you're seeing them with the hamstring problems because their bodies are naturally accustomed to that. Easing them in. You play a quarter, then you play the half, and then you play 3 quarters, and then you sit for the 4th week and you rest, and it's almost like a bye week, and then you prepare and you go into week 1 and you hit your stride and you go. So I feel like those veterans, you're going to start to see them get even better as the next couple of weeks go, because their bodies are just getting acclimated to playing like they have been for years on end. The older the player, the more their body's used to taking this time right here, the first 3 or 4 weeks, to get up to full game speed. You see them huffing and puffing in the fourth quarter. It's not natural for an athlete like Joey Bosa to almost look like he needed oxygen on that drive against the Chiefs at the end. You saw him. I get it. He played a lot of snaps and all that, but the guys that are that special usually don't need that kind of a break late in the game. And it's because he's still not at 100%. And if you can't expect guys to not pop hamstrings and have soft core injuries if they're not ready yet.
No, I agree. That's a good point. I didn't even think of
Makes
that.
sense. All right, so you ready?
Yeah, sure. What's your who's your score first of week 3
for each team, right?
Yeah, sure.
If you want to double up, go for it.
Who knows
what, you could double up. I'm writing this down, and I'm putting the bet in, bud.
I think it's a tight end night. So I think that Tyler Eifert and Gesicki are the first touchdown scorers for their respective teams.
Wow.
Tyler Eifert and Gesicki. Ooh.
Which one first? You don't know which one yet? Whoever gets the ball first.
Coin flip.
I mean, it's whoever gets. Yeah,
whoever gets the ball.
That's not always the case, though. That is not always the case.
Of course, no, it's not. So, all right. So let's just say, for instance, Miami wins the toss and they elect to receive. They go 3 and out. Jags drive down the field. I think Tyler Eifert scores first tonight.
All right.
We'll see what happens. You know what's funny? Last week,
I'm going to look up the
Monday,
odds for that, man, because that's a good one.
On Monday, when we did the tilt on Monday, I said Kamara scores first for the Saints, but I was just about ready to say that my Swiss Army knife was going to score first. I really thought that Taysom Hill was going to score first. And here's the thing. He missed it by like that much. He almost did. Yeah, he took the ball. I thought he got in. I was like, oh my God. I have him in Dynasty because I just love having like he's probably going to sit there until he maybe eventually expands on a role, but I think he's just too ingrained in that offense to really go anywhere. But I just love having a piece of a guy that can do it all. They can really do it all.
And if you have the roster space, it's not a horrible idea in Dynasty because there is still the chance and the talk out of New Orleans that he's going to inherit that offense. And if he does, even if it's for a season, the value on him is ridiculous. You'll be able to a starting quarterback for Sean Payton, you can trade for a lot. In Dynasty.
He was my last pick in Dynasty, and I was so happy that he was there. Because I'm like, I'm never going to get rid of him. I'm never getting rid of him because Drew Brees, everybody has a shelf life. All right. Everybody has a shelf life. Drew Brees is up there. He's up there with Aaron Rodgers. You know, he's been doing it for a long time. Taysom Hill would be the clear cut usurper. Usurper?
Usurper.
Usurper, yeah.
Usurper, yeah.
Usher. Ursher.
All right,
yeah,
so
that's what I'm gonna.
The odds for Mike Gesicki to catch the first touchdown is plus 1,000. So that's $10 makes you $100.
What is the?
And the odds for Eifert are plus 1,200.
I like it.
So that's $10 gets you $120. I think I'm gonna put my money on Gesicki, man. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put it right here, right now. Bonus available. Yeah, I'll take the bonus. Sure.
Who did I say last night? Whose odds are the lowest? Who are they saying is the obvious choice?
James Robinson. Robinson.
See, that's why, and I think everyone's gonna expect that, and I think it's just gonna be a
play action.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
maybe.
Play action. Chris Conley in the back of the end zone.
Plus 1,100. That's not a bad one either for the first touchdown. Yeah, you know, obviously to score it's a little bit less.
Well, first touchdown, I don't know. Maybe it will be Eifert, but I feel like it's going to be something along those lines. Play action, somebody's blown coverage, and somebody's open in the back of the end zone. They're going to pick on whoever we put in for Byron Jones. It's going to be tough for us. It's going to be tough for us to contain that offense in general. I mean, you never know.
I'm going to put $5. I'm going to put $5 down on Eifert as well.
I got 5 on it.
I got 5 on it.
I'm going to join you, Chef. Let's go.
Yeah.
I mean,
either way.
So the
tight end, it's a tight end kind of night.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's a tight end kind of year, honestly. But
the 2020, the year of tight ends. Yeah, I can see it. You know, everything that's happened in the 2020 era. we talked about, what happens in 2020. What's that crazy thing? I think we mentioned it on Sunday, like the craziest thing that's going to happen in football this week for the 2020, since 2020 has been so crazy with COVID and what is that, like fire hornets or something like that? Murder hornets.
Hornets.
Yeah.
Wait, time out real quick.
We've seen fire nados and whole 9 yards, wildfires burning. And, the tight end is not usually a prime position in fantasy football. And we see it coming alive with Tyler Higbee, Jonnu Smith, both getting into the top 5 back-to-back weeks. Travis Kelce is obviously still there. Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert even jumped in there 1 week. I know you're a little upset, but wait, just hang on. Jalen Reagor going out this week.
I know.
Zach Ertz might have a better game than most expect, but even young guys like Logan Thomas and Tyler Eifert, Drew Sample's a little bit older.
Thomas is too. It's just that he's breaking in now, but he's 28.
He's just breaking. Yeah.
Did you put 5 on Eifert to score first? Overall?
I put 5 on Eifert and I put 10 on Gesicki
to score first.
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
That way, if I at least hit on one of them, I get all my money back plus.
You sure do. I like it.
I don't know if I should do any other prop bets or anything like that. Let's see. Passing yards.
I don't know.
Gardner Minshew over 269 yards. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's
touchdown passes though.
But I don't know, man. Gardner Minshew. This is a game with a lot of heart in it. I think these two guys. It's beard versus mustache.
That's been the hype the whole time, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, it's been the hype.
That's what they've been hyping up, the beard versus the mustache. I like the beard personally. I'm not
the beard. Yeah,
we like the beard.
It's magic, man. He's like Merlin out there.
I don't think I've ever heard you refer to Ryan Fitzpatrick as Ryan Fitzpatrick.
No, it's Fitzmagic.
I know.
It's tragic. It's either or. It's not anywhere in between. Well, actually, he's been playing like Fitzpatrick.
Well, no,
so he's in the middle. He's in the middle line. He's not throwing up magic yet, and he's not doing anything tragic. Yes, he has a little turnover here or there, but he's actually doing a good job in game management, and that's a good sign for Tua to develop a little bit more. I'm sure Miami's happy with that because he is a bridge quarterback, and he should have been a starting quarterback years ago on his own respective team. He just kept moving around like a Mark Sanchez around the league. Fortunately enough for him, he's good enough to hold it down.
Yeah, but he still had he had a lot of problems though, man. Like those turnover games that he used to have, those tragic games that you're talking about. Like if he puts you behind with a pick six and a fumble early in the game and he does it to you back-to-back weeks, as a coach, you have a responsibility to the rest of your team to move on and bring somebody else on that can do the job. Because
here's a good one I found.
Then he would come back in and have a 4 touchdown game. So he's Jekyll and Hyde, this dude.
Preston Williams under 44.5 yards, so under 45 yards. Yes or no?
There's always the chance of that one deep ball, Chef. It scares me a little, but
with Devontae Parker on the field, I'm taking the bet. I'm putting 5 on it. It's only a plus 108, so that's good. It's just a little cover bet. And then we got all right. So who wins, guys? Who wins tonight?
Yo, 2.5 point favorites. The Jags are 2.5 point favorites. Make your call.
As that, I mean, the Jags win. I hate to say it. I feel like the Dolphins' defensive side, if it were flip-flops, if you scored more points as defense, if that's how things were scored, like reverse, like golf or something, then it'd be a different story. But I don't really see a lot of superstar talent, not even superstar talent, but just outside of Gesicki. I mean, I don't know.
The spread is 2.5, so it's closer than we expected.
Miles Gaskin is getting the rock. Like, it's gross. You know what I mean? Like Preston Williams, I could see that happening. Devontae Parker, I mean, I could see it, but
why
I also
is Miles
see
Gaskin being the starting quarterback? I mean, running back.
Because somebody lost a bet. I don't know, man.
Jordan Howard, Matt Breida there.
He's a perfect blend. He's a blend of the two. Like he's a little bigger than Breida, a little faster than Howard. He's going to
And
be
Patrick
able to
Laird got a little
offense.
bit in there last week as
If that
well,
makes
right?
sense.
Well, it's also the negative game script. We were down to the Bills. We had to keep coming back
Right.
against the Buffalo Bills. So you needed to spread it out, go 3-4 wide receivers. So Jordan Howard's going to be a non-factor in a game like that. If we somehow get the lead, though, you could see Jordan Howard eat into Myles Gaskin's touches. But like you're saying, Mr. Swanson, we really don't have any stars on offense. Devontae Parker can play like a star. We saw him light up Gilmore last year, but he's been in and out. He's been banged up, and he's going to get the C.J. Henderson treatment. So we'll see what happens with him this week. But I like Isaiah Ford to be able to do a little something for us out of the slot.
Ooh, that's a sneaky one. Yeah.
Yeah, I
that.
just put 5 on him. He's plus 2,000, so why not?
To score the first touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, why not?
That's not a bad.
Blown coverage. I had a really good week last week, so I can do that. I can go out on a limb. I had Braxton Berrios last week. I'm going to keep taking victory laps on that one.
All right. So here's
Keep
my
doing
take. Here's my take. It's a 2.5 point spread. It's over under 49 points. I'm going to take the Jags with the point, giving away 2.5 points, so they have to win by 3.
And they should.
And I'm taking the over. I think the game is going to be 31-28.
How
Just
many
like
Dolphins defensive touchdowns? At least one?
Maybe it's going to be 31-24, but that's fine too.
Yeah, I think we keep it close, and I don't know if we're going to score a touchdown on defense. I think we do whatever the over-under thing is for James Robinson's rushing yards, we're going to keep him under. And
What is that?
And I think the Miami Dolphins pull out this game. Listen, can you see the Jaguars being 2-1 and number 1 in the division, tied with the Colts and the Titans? Like, seriously, can you see that happening after we won? I mean, it is 2020, so the team that was supposed to be tanking for Trevor all of a sudden is going to be 2-1 and staring down the opportunity of maybe making some kind of playoff run. Like, I know Minshew mania is a real thing, but come on, man. Like, all those guys that they're missing on defense, they've been playing a little bit inspired. I can't, they can't keep going forever. And if we fall to 0-3, it's Tua season. So on the one hand, it's like, we're moving further along to getting Tua involved. But I got to pick my Dolphins on a Thursday night. How am I going to watch this game and not pick my Dolphins to win? I'm not going to put any money on it, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
if it was 3.5, I would put money on the Dolphins. If it was 3.5, because
Right.
I believe what the chef is saying that it's going to be a 3-point game. But I have to pick my Dolphins to win this game. I feel like somehow we're going to make just enough plays to get this done.
And what was the what you
I
said
like that
the,
little giggle. No, you see, you heard his little giggle like that. Then that's not happening. Okay.
I don't
Maybe.
think Miami wins. I think it's going to be close though. I think it's going to be a lot closer than what
it's going to be close. I'm not saying it's a blowout.
Hey,
Miami's
if Vegas
been
turns
keeping it
around and
close.
says 2.5 points,
They've
that
been
means
keeping it
they
close.
think it's going to be close.
Was it
Right.
last week? Did Miami just fall by 3 last week?
Yeah,
Wasn't
31-28. Same
Yeah,
score
so-
Chef just said. That was it. But that was the Buffalo freaking Bills, bro. Like, we're saying the Jaguars are the Bills. That's what we're saying. Like, it's tough for me.
I think
So the over under on James Robinson's yardage is
That's what I was looking for.
70.5.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He can have a decent little game and have 60 yards rushing.
You think
like
it's over?
60 and a touchdown.
I'm thinking it's under. I'm saying
It's
we're keeping
favored.
him under.
Oh, you think it's under?
We're keeping him under that.
I'm putting.
I
money
think
on
it's
that.
over that. I think it's over that.
Okay. Let me give you a choice. Okay, here's your
All right.
choice. You have Josh Allen at quarterback and either Moss and Singletary or Gardner Minshew with James Robinson. Which offense do you expect to be the better offense, the one that produces the most?
Josh
One more
Allen.
time.
Josh Allen and the Bills offense,
The
or
Bills
Gardner
offense.
Minshew and the Jags offense, minus
Josh
DJ Shark.
Allen. Yeah, and they held the Bills. They did. All right.
Except for the passing game, Josh Allen tore us up. I'm not saying Gardner Minshew is not going to throw for 350 on us. He might, even without Shark there. They might still be able to do it. Keelan Cole has been coming on. He had over 100 yards. He's been looking good.
No, I
With
like that.
Hall.
I like that prop bet. I like that. We're gonna
Yeah.
go with that. I'm putting the money on it. I'm putting
Oh,
$10 on there
Which one?
on James Robinson under 70 and a half.
Under 70. Yeah.
Yep.
It's
I
not
like
every
that.
day. It would take a big run. It would take a defensive
I know
breakdown.
he's Mr. Swanson's guy, but I think he might get a little bit of passing work. You
if
know,
it's
on some
rushing yards,
bootlegs.
maybe not total yards, but rushing yards. Yeah, I think he stays under 70 yards.
Yeah,
rushing.
it's rushing yards.
Yeah, I guess I could see it happening too.
I mean,
I'd like
let's-
to be proven right in the sense that I want to see him do the things to the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins could stop him on paper. Like
Mhm.
they should have stopped the run. I want to see him crush that. I want to see him avoid that. I want to see him find holes. I want to see him exploit the defense because I really believe in him as a player. This is more about just like him as a guy for me than anything else. Just I want to see him do well because if he continues to do well, I think he had a 100-yard game last week.
I think he did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
And I just like the eye test. I love the eye test. I know it sometimes burns you, but like
no, the eyes say it all.
And I really see something, man.
The Bills backs last week combined for 18 carries and 93 yards between the both of them.
Right.
That was as a total between Singletary and Moss. So if the split is such, Devin Singletary had 10 carries for 56 yards. I mean, I don't think Robinson is on their level. Personally, I know you like the talent, Mr. Swanson. I just don't think he's on their level. And, you know, I believe in my Dolphins. I believe in Jerome Baker. I believe in
I think they're going to try. They're going to try to push that. They're going to try to put pressure on Minshew and stop that running game. They're going to try to control the clock as best they can.
They're going to say, beat me without DJ Shark. You know what I mean? You're going to have to, he's going to have to do it, and he's going to have to throw. And he has been doing it. So, I mean, I expect it to be a fun game. I expect it to be, like you said, Chef, up and down the field. There could be miscues. You know, Fitzpatrick and Minshew both are turnover prone. They both don't have a problem turning the ball over. So we could see one of those fun, wild Thursday night games that nobody saw coming.
I'm excited.
All right. So I'm taking the Jags to win and cover at -2.5.
I'll take the Jags straight up.
That's mine. You're taking the Jags straight up. All right.
I'm going to take the Dolphins to pull the upset.
All right.
And we're going with the over. I think some points get scored tonight.
Okay. So what do we have here tonight? What do we got?
like the over.
What do we got going on? We have – you're writing all this down.
Yeah, I am. So the over-under is 49 points. Juan's got the Dolphins.
Yes, sir.
JP – I'm sorry, Mr. Swanson is afraid of the spread, the 2.5-point spread. So he's saying just to win. Yeah, just to win. To win. I'm going to write it down. To win. And I'm
20-19 Jags.
And he's taking the Fins with the over. I'm taking the Jags covering with the over. All right. And that it is.
And then next thing you know, it'll be 7-3 Jags, and we all, 7-3 Dolphins, and we all lose. Except for me, because I got them to win.
Yeah, because you have them to win. But we still lose because of the over. Yeah. All right, guys. I think we're going to wrap it up. It's almost 8 o'clock. I'm going to let you guys do what you got to do. Get ready. Make sure you double check your fantasy rosters. We got a quick little comment in there. Oh, yes, we do.
My
AJ
brother
Cruz.
from another mother. Yes, sir.
I love you too, man.
That's so cool.
You already know I love you, bro.
AJ. That's awesome.
My man's in them. We're birthday twins. That he and AJ and I have been friends since we were like 12 years old, man. Same birthday. Both Dolphins fans for life. So we've both been suffering our entire life. But yo, Fins up, my dude. Right tonight, Fins up. Let's go get it. Jerome Baker, get on him. Let's go.
We got some homers in the house.
Jerome Baker, baby.
That's where homers live, man. They live in the house.
This is his first big nationally televised game. I'm telling you, if you want to see a good linebacker play football, watch 55 on the Dolphins. Watch him move around and float around.
Okay.
I love it. Love it. All right. Thanks, AJ. Appreciate you writing in, man.
My dude.
We like that.
Nice.
All right, guys. We are going to close it out here, man. As always, gentlemen, it's great talking to you.
Always.
Talking to you both. Always. If anybody else out there wants to check out our work, obviously you can find us at thetiltisreal.com, www.thetiltisreal.com.
And if you have any late questions, if you didn't have a chance to get it in through this, just head to Twitter. Throw your question up there. We'll be
you could Twitter, you could subscribe to the website, ask it there. I'm always live on, I'm always watching. You can find me at FF_chef, Juan at FF Juan of a Kind, and of course Mr. Swanson at the FF John JAWN Swanson.
Yes. I love
you can leave the voicemail thing, Chef. You could leave your voicemails too if you don't want to type out a question and you don't feel like doing that.
I want it to happen. I want someone to call in and leave a voicemail on Anchor Podcast. That is our sponsor for our podcast, and that's the platform that we use to record and upload it. They give us the RS feed, if anybody knows what that is. Anyway, yeah, you can call in, leave a voicemail question, and we will play your question live on the air.
We will.
Okay, and one last thing. Obviously, the Sunday Tilt, big news. If you are watching this, Sunday Tilt will be starting at 10 a.m. Sunday morning Eastern Standard Time. We're moving it up a little bit. Juan and I are loaded with info. Mr. Swanson's going to join us from sunny old Florida. And, we got a lot of information to give you guys on Sunday morning. So we figured we'd move it up a little bit so we're not that close to, what is that, jelly?
It's a candle. It looks like jelly, right?
Yeah. I was like, what is that, jam?
Y'all ain't got no jelly.
Well, they're definitely going to have some jam tonight inside that Miami off defensive line.
Man.
All right, guys, I'm signing off. I am the FF_chef, James Crease. You guys want to say good night to everyone? One of a kind. You want to start it off first?
Yeah, man. Go Fins. Let's go. Dolphins up. Let's go. We're gonna prove to the world we can play defense. Let's at least play well on defense. I'm actually kind of praying at this moment. I'm not really saying bye to anybody. I'm just kind of hoping and being optimistic. But yeah, at FF, one of a kind. Anything you need, anytime, we're always available.
Absolutely. And I am FFJAWN Swanson, and let's go tight ends on both sides tonight.
Let's go tight ends.
Let's go tight ends.
Money.
All right, guys, enjoy the game, and we will see you next time. Thank you. Peace out.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Tilts is Real Fantasy Podcast. Check out our website at thetiltisreal.com for weekly articles, breakdowns, and more. Follow us on Twitter at TIR_pod. We'll see you Tilters next week.